Hey, good morning. Welcome. So yeah, we're gonna talk about the AWS certifications, and we're gonna give you some recommendations so you can take some training and you can get ready to pass your tests. Okay, so before we start, let me just give you a few details about my background. I've been certified on AWS since 2018, and I teach AWS since 2019, so 3 years now. I also teach NetApp technology, and these are my active certifications that I have right now. I'm an AAI, that's the AWS Authorized Instructor. I have the Solutions Architect Associate cert as well, and then I have a few more on the NetApp side. Okay, so let's go and start with all the certs that you can get from AWS. And let's go and start with the foundational. Now, this is updated, of course, to 2022. And if we start with the foundational, as you can see, they recommend that you have at least 6 months of basic knowledge about AWS. And of course, the cert that they recommend, it's the Cloud Practitioner. Now, at some point, we are going to go one by one. We go and we see the training you can take for a Cloud Practitioner, and I will give you some hints and some things that you can do so you can pass the test as well. Okay, so that's the foundational. Uh, then there is the associate level. Okay, they recommend to have 1 year of experience, and they have also the professional ones, and they recommend 2 years of experience. Okay, so on the associate ones, they have the associate architect. Okay, solutions architect associate, and then if you want to, you can go pro. Now, one of the important things about the certifications is that you don't need to have any cert. For example, you don't need to have the associate one if you want to go pro. As long as you have enough experience and enough knowledge, then you can go pro without going to any associate or without going to any foundation. That's something that changed, I might say, like 3.5 years ago. So since 2018, you don't need to have any prerequisites to go and take any exam and to pass any cert. Okay. Now, on the associate level, there are two more. They have the SysOps admin, developer associate as well. And then if you want to go deeper, or if you feel you have enough experience, you can go to the DevOps Engineer cert. Okay. Now, besides the foundational, associate, and pro, then they have the specialty certs, and they have advanced networking, data analytics, database, machine learning, and security. Okay, you can take any of those certs also without having any foundational, associate, and pro. Now, let's go and see more details on Cloud Practitioner. That's a very common cert, by the way. And the Cloud Practitioner, it's intended for anyone who has basic knowledge of AWS. In fact, we have one course that it takes only 1 day that it's called AWS Cloud Practitioner Essentials. Now, we're going to give you the PDF with all the things I'm showing you. And within that file, you can find many links. So every time you see like blue text, that means that's a link. And that will take you, for example, to the Cloud Practitioner Essentials course. If you want to see more details about the cert, there's a link all the way down. So it will take you to the official AWS website, and you can see a few more things that you can do so you can pass the test. Usually, taking the course, it helps, but it might not be enough for some students. So that's why if you go to that page, you can see more things that you can study. You can get some practice questions as well. And you can see a few more online training that you can take without paying. Now, the exam, the Cloud Practitioner exam, it's a foundational exam. It takes an hour and a half, or they give you an hour and a half so you can pass the test. You can see what's the cost, and they have 65 questions. Okay, it's very common to see Cloud Practitioner, but if you think that's way too basic, then you can go and you can take the Solutions Architect Associate. Okay, that's the one that many companies are asking for right now. So you can prove that you have and you can implement, since you are an architect, you can implement many AWS solutions. For that course, we have we recommend the technical essentials, that's 1 day, but we also recommend the AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate course, plus the exam bundle. So we give you the a voucher so you can take the test. Now, again, as I said before, if you click on any of those links, you can see more details. Let me go and share my browser here with you so I can show you some interesting things that we have. And if you go to, for example, the one I was showing you, the AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate course plus the exam bundle, right now we have a 30% discount if you book this month, okay? And we have this course almost every single week. What's the cost of the exam? I was going to that. I will show you that in a few moments. The cost is $150, okay, $150 US. And I will show you those details in a few moments. Okay, so, but right now, again, if you take the course, if you enroll to the course that we have, again, almost every single week, you get a 30% discount, and then you get the voucher for the test. That means you don't have to pay for the exam either. Okay. Now, let me go back to PowerPoint. So we recommend, again, the technical essentials. We also recommend the 3-day course, that's the Solutions Architect course, and then details about the exam. It's associate, right? It takes 130 minutes to complete. You can see it's 150, and it will be 65 questions, okay? Now, if you go to the link I have here all the way down, okay, if you see the Certified Solutions Architect Associate, it will take you to the official website of AWS, okay, and that's the one I have here, right? So if I click on the Solutions Architect, all the way down, you can see that they have some resources that you can go and you can watch. You can learn more if you want to. For example, they have the exam guide. They have sample questions. You can take a practice test if you want to. And then there's digital training that you can take without paying for, okay? And then we have, AWS has a webinar so you can get ready for the test. Now, why do we recommend the course? Because on that course, we give you many details, many interesting details, and we give you labs so you can practice. So we give you all the labs, you can practice, you can use the cloud, we connect to the actual cloud. So that means that you are going to get hands-on experience if you take the official course, okay? Now, let me go back to PowerPoint. So that's the Solutions Architect Associate, okay? Now, the next one, it's the SysOps Administrator, okay? And that's the one that you can take if you want to demonstrate experience deploying, managing, and operating workloads on AWS. We recommend the SysOps Admin Associate Cert course, and we also give you the voucher. That takes 3 days. And the exam, and this is the only exam, by the way, that has an exam lab, okay? So they have 65 scoring opportunities, right? That may be multiple choice, multiple response, or an exam lab. That's the only exam that has a lab. It's also 150, and they give you 180 minutes to complete the exam, okay? And once again, I have the link here for you, so you can just go and see when we have that training for you, or you can enroll if you want to, and then you can take the training from QuickStart, okay? Now, if you have any questions, just go and type the questions on the Q&A section. I will answer all of your questions. Again, we will give you a copy of this file that I'm showing you. We will send you that by email so you can get all the details, you can get all the links, and then you can enroll if you want to on our trainings. Now, the next one here, it's the developer. It's also an associate cert. And that's the one that you can take if you want to, let's say, validate that you can write and you can deploy cloud-based solutions, okay? The recommended training, this is a 4-day training. It's called Developing on AWS. And details about the exam, it's also an associate level exam. It's 150 US, and then also 65 questions. No exam lab here, only questions. And most of them are multiple choice. Okay. If you want to see more details on that cert, just go and click on the link I have all the way down. Now, the next one, if you want to go pro, then you can go with the solutions architect profession. Okay. And again, that's we go deeper on many things that we explain on the basic solutions architect. Then you have to prove that you can design, you can deploy, and then you can evaluate applications on AWS that may have, okay, that they might have complex requirements. And we recommend the advanced architecting on AWS. Okay, and that's a 3-day course. And the test, it's now 300 US, okay, 180 minutes, and now they give you 75 questions, so you can pass the Solutions Architect Pro exam. Now, as I mentioned before, for the ones that joined late, you don't need to have any of the, let me go back here real quick. Let me share my screen once again with you. You don't need to have any of the basic certs, like the foundational or the associate certs, so you can take a professional cert. Okay, there are no prerequisites, no cert prerequisites, and that changed once again in 2018. Okay, so you can start, if you feel confident, you can go with DevOps Engineer, or you can go with any specialty cert as well. You don't need to go through all the basic certs. I have a question from Daryl. He says, what AWS track and cert would be appropriate for an individual who wants to extend their extensive on-prem? The one I would recommend, Daryl, should be the Solutions Architect Associate. Why? Because on that training, on that cert, we see and we identify many AWS solutions. We talk about storage, we talk about migration, we talk about compute, of course. We go and we see some details about EC2 as well. So we have, and we explain many things, so you can see all the options that you can go with. We talk about serverless as well. So the one I would recommend to start, it's the Solutions Architect. We see many solutions, and we see how to use, and we see one of the most important things that we have is we actually go and we see the cost of the solution. Okay, so that's the one I would recommend. Okay, I have another question from Oscar. Will Amazon Career Choice cover the cost of the courses? Yeah, I think so. Yep. Most of the companies, they want you to get certified. That's the way they can prove, or you can prove them that you know. And I've seen many opportunities, and if you have at least the Solutions Architect Associate, you can get a great job. Okay, if you go deeper, and this is the time to start going to, if you go to cloud right now, I think it's the perfect time to do that. Cloud, it's the present, it's the future, and many customers are going now to cloud. Okay. What training do you recommend for, I have another question here. So what training do you recommend for an individual that wants to start developing cloud-based applications from scratch? I would go with a Developer Associate. Okay. You need to know how to write code. Let's say Python, for example, but I would recommend to go with a developer. Okay, so if you want to start developing applications, I would go with a developer first, and then maybe DevOps engineer, and then maybe you can add some specialties like maybe machine learning or data analytics. Maybe you want to add security to that application as well, but I would say start with the developer. Okay. So we have all those details here. So I explained the Cloud Practitioner, that's the basic one. The Solutions Architect, that's the one that many companies are asking for right now. Then we have the SysOps Administrator, right? That we recommend a 3-day course that we have, the SysOps Admin. Then we have the Developer, right? So you can see here it says, so you can write and deploy cloud-based applications, and that takes 4 days. Now, as I said before, it helps a lot if you take the course, but you might need to go and read a few more things. And one of the things I recommend, and we're going to get to that, is that you always go to the official AWS website and you see more resources that they give you access, most of them without paying for. But I will give you some exam hints in a few moments, and I will give you a few more examples in a few slides from now. Okay, so that Developer Associate, it's 150. Then we have the Architect Pro. That's also a 3-day course. The cost, it's now twice of the associate ones, and now they give you 75 questions. They give you more time to pass the test. And also I will show you how you can register for the test if you think you are ready for the test as well. Okay, so the next one we have here, that's the DevOps Engineer. So that's the way that you can validate, that you can automate, because automation, by the way, it's one of the most important things that you need to know when you start moving to the cloud. Because of course you can do things manually, but it might take some time. If you want to deploy 2-3 databases and a few EC2 instances, it might take some time. It can be done manually, but if you start with automation, you can do things way easier, way faster, and you will get the exact same result every single time. Okay, so DevOps Engineer, we recommend 2 courses. The Advanced Developing on AWS, that's a 3-day course. The DevOps Engineering on AWS, that's another 3 days. And the exam, also 300 US. And then you get 180 minutes, and you also get 75 questions as well. Okay. Again, if anyone has any other questions, please let me know. Use the Q&A section. As I mentioned before, we will give you a copy. We will send you by email a copy of the slides I'm showing you, so you can get more details, and you can click on any of those links so you can see more information about every single cert. Now, the next one we have here, that's the specialty based on security, right? So that will validate the expertise in securing data and workloads in the AWS cloud. And we recommend the Solutions Architect, that's the 3-day course. And also we recommend Security Engineering on AWS, okay? As I mentioned a few times now, the Solutions Architect course, it's called Architecting on AWS, okay? We have that course almost every single week. So you can enroll, and again, we have a 30% discount, and we give you the voucher when you take that course, okay? Now, the exam for the specialty, you can see the cost, 300, right? 65 questions, and then they give you 170 minutes to complete the exam. Next one, that's the database specialty, and we recommend the planning and designing databases on AWS. I give you a link here so you can enroll and you can get training on databases. And also they have 65 questions. We go to the Q&A section. Are there any hands-on requirements or suggestions prior to taking an official AWS course? Not really, Daryl. Since we give you access to the labs, then you can practice using our labs. Now, if you want to practice more, I will show you how you can practice more without paying for it, okay? We're gonna get to that. We're gonna see that in a few moments, but there's no hands-on requirements or suggestions if you want to take an official AWS course. As I said before, we give you access to the console, to the real console, so you are going to create and manage and deploy real, let's say, resources in the public cloud, so you don't need to have any prior experience, okay? Now, the next one, the next specialty, that's machine learning. That's a great topic. That's huge right now. So you know how to, so you can demonstrate how you can build, how you can train, how you can tune and deploy machine learning on AWS. And we recommend the practical data science with Amazon SageMaker, and also we recommend the machine learning pipeline on AWS, okay? And between both of them, that will take around 5 days. And also, I have here the details about the exam. The next one, advanced networking. In a few moments, I will show you some things I would recommend so you can practice and you can pass the test as well. So the advanced networking, that's the way that you can demonstrate, again, designing and maintaining network architecture. And there is a networking learning plan that's web-based. You can take that one without paying for it. That's 16 hours. And the exam, it's also 65 questions. And then that's specialty exam. Okay. Now, for the advanced networking, right now they are going through a beta exam this month. They expect to have a new version of the standard exam by July 2022. Okay, so if you want to take the beta exam, then go ahead. You can do that right now. But if it was me, I would wait for the full test, the GA, let's say, of the test that it's available in 2022. Okay. How much is the AI specialty exam again? Let me go back here. Oops, let me go back. All the specialty exams are 300 US. Okay. So the machine learning, also 300 US as well. So any specialty exam, 300 US. Okay. So the professional and specialty exams, 300. The associate exams, 150. And the cloud practitioner, only 100. Okay. But again, some of them, they include the voucher if you take the training with QuickStart. Okay. Now, so those are all the certs. We've seen all of them. Now let's go with what we have, the data analytics. That's the last one here. We recommend that you take the big data on AWS. That's a 3-day course. And also, as you can see, the exam, it's 300, right? And they give you also 65 questions, and you have 3 hours to complete the exam, okay? Now, I took the Solutions Architect exam last week because I had to recertify. And by the way, once you get certified, all the certifications, they will be valid for 3 years, okay? So if you get certified as a Solutions Architect, you have 3 years until you need to get recertified once again, okay? Now, some things I would recommend for the test. Okay, now let's go and see how you can register for the exam. So you can take the exam at home, or you can take the exam at a Pearson VUE or a PSI site. Okay, if you want to register for the exam, you have to create an account on AWS.training. Once you create the account, you have to register for the exam, and then if you have a voucher like the ones we give on some of the courses, it's non-refundable and cannot be exchanged for any other type of voucher. Now, once you go to AWS training, you can schedule with VUE or PSI. As far as I know, VUE and PSI, they both of them offer that you can take the test at home. There's an online proctor, and then you can take the exam at home. They have a few requirements. You have someone that is watching you throughout the exam, but you can take the test without going to any Pearson VUE or PSI testing center, right? Because of the pandemic right now, so you can take the exam back home. Now, if you want to go to a testing site, you can schedule the test, and they will apply the test on a specific site, okay? And in my experience, I think it's way better if you go to a testing center than if you take the test at home. Why? Because at home, you might be distracted, right? Your wife, your kids, something might happen and you might be distracted, and you need to focus on the test. For example, last week, even though I've been using the cloud for 3-4 years now, it took me the 130 minutes to go through the test, okay? So I would recommend go to a testing site. Now, more things I would recommend to get certified. So always check the official AWS certification page so you can see and you can get practice questions.
and you can get additional free web-based trainings, okay? Also, I always recommend that you read the FAQs. When you go to the AWS website and you search for a specific solution, they have FAQs. Let me show you some examples. I have a few of them here. For example, let's say that you want to go to, you want to pass the Solutions Architect exam. On the Solutions Architect, they have many topics. We talk about many solutions. For example, we talk about AWS organizations, okay? So if you go and you search for AWS organizations, once you get to that page, click on the FAQs and read the FAQs. Maybe you feel confident on storage, or maybe you feel confident on the networking side. But if you don't, go and read the FAQs. Many exams are based on the FAQs, okay? So that's the perfect way so you can read more and you can understand more about that specific solution. Another example, the savings plan. They have something called savings plan for compute, for EC2, for Lambda, Fargate. Okay, so if you want to know more about the savings plan, just go and search AWS savings plans and then click on the FAQs, and then you can see many more details about the FAQs. Now, if you don't feel confident with VPCs, VPC, it's the virtual private cloud. It's like a data center in the cloud. Go and read the FAQs. Okay, that's the best way that I can recommend that you practice for the test. Okay. Now, also on the QuickStart website, we have some practice exams, okay, that you can take if you want to. But the most important thing, now let me go back to PowerPoint here, it's that you practice using the real console or the CLI. How can you practice? You can open an account on AWS, and you can get access to the free tier for 1 year, okay? So if you click on that link I have here, that will take you to the free tier solutions. And they give you, once again, access to the free tier for 1 year. So what do you need to create an account on AWS? You need to have, of course, your name, you need to have an email, you need to have a phone number, very important, the phone number. I will tell you why in a few moments. And you need to also add a credit card, okay? Once you create the account, then you can access the free tier. For example, maybe some of you know what's, let's say here, EC2. EC2, it's like a VM, okay? And they have a few EC2 instances that you can deploy without paying for. And they give you 730 hours of EC2 per month, completely free. So that means that you can deploy one EC2 instance, you can practice, you can deploy, you can start, you can change the settings, you can change the IP address, you can do whatever you want, and you can deploy one instance for free, okay, every single month, okay? Now, if you want to see more details on the free tier, now let me go back to my browser here. I have here a link for the free tier. Give me one moment, okay? You can see that they have free trials, they have the free tier, and they have many solutions that they are always free. For example, then click on always free, and then it shows you that you can get 25 gigs of DynamoDB for free, always. You can get 1 million Lambda requests, always free. You can get 1 million publishes on SNS, always free, okay? But also, if I click on the free tier, it's 750 hours, not 730, 750 hours. You also get 5 gigabytes of storage on S3. You get 750 hours of RDS. So that's the way that you can get used to AWS, and you can practice without paying for. Now be careful, because if you go past the free tier, that's why they ask for a credit card, and you will have to pay for that every single month. Okay, it happened to me because I do some demos, and then I deploy to EC2 instances, I let them both running, and I had to pay for the second. So in my account, once I had to pay for the second instance, I created some alarms. So every time that my budget is going over 0 or my cost, then I get an alarm. Okay, you can do that as well. What else I would recommend? Take the official training. We give you updated details. We have updated labs. AWS tries to keep all the slides and all the books very updated. In fact, sometimes we get updates maybe 2-3 times a week. So they keep all the courses updated. And of course, they keep all the labs and all the lab instructions updated as well. Okay, so those are the things I would recommend if you want to pass a test. Any questions, anyone? Again, if you have any questions, use the Q&A section so I can answer any other questions that you might have. Okay. Okay, so a few interesting links. AWS certifications, right? So if you go to awsamazon.com/certification, then you can see more details about the certs. Now, I have another question from Christian. He says, when we get updates, do you have to learn the update features also? Yes, Christian, that's very, very important. For example, let me go back to my browser. Let me show you the console. This is the console, the AWS console. I'm using the free tier account. Now, if I click on EC2, that's a VM, you can see I won't give you many more details about EC2. The things I want to show you here is that on the left side, they have many things that they say new. So you have to stay updated. They have new features and a new GUI for reserved instances. They have new AMIs. They have new volumes, snapshots. So they keep updating the console and features. And right now, as of right now, they have 200 plus solutions. And they keep adding more and more solutions almost every single month. Okay, so you have to keep updated. How do I keep myself updated? Going through the console. Sometimes when I want to do a demo, things are different now. So I need to get used to the new GUI, for example, to the new console. I also watch YouTube videos as well. There is the official AWS channel, and they announce the new solutions almost again every single month, and they give you use cases. So yes, one of the most important things that you have to do if you are going to cloud, it's you have to stay updated. Okay, you always have to be updated, and you can subscribe to different podcasts or different channels as well. And things keep changing almost every single week. Okay, so yeah, you need to keep updated. Okay, now what else we have here? A few more links. We have the AWS training website. You can take a few web-based without paying for it, and I give you some links for the exam partners as well. Okay, so you can register with Pearson VUE or PSI online. And if you want to get in touch with our sales reps, you can send an email to sales@quickstart.com. You can send me an email also if you want to. Let me give you my email. So Hector Martinez at quickstart.com. But if you want to register for our trainings, you can talk to the sales reps. You can register through the website, or you can send me an email, and I will send that information to our sales reps. Okay. Any other questions, anyone? So this is a pretty short webinar. I was trying to finish within half an hour. It took me a few more minutes. But again, these are the things I would recommend and the courses that I would recommend so you can get trained and you can pass the test and you can start learning cloud. Cloud, it's the best way to go now. With QuickStart, you can get trained on AWS and Azure as well. And if you know one cloud, and this is the most important thing that I would say about cloud training, if you learn one cloud, then you can map the concepts to other clouds. For example, in my experience, I began with AWS. And when I go to Azure, I just map the concepts. I know how the features work, and I just map the concepts. When we teach, or when I teach at least, I try to give you as many links as possible. And one of the links for customers, for students that they know Azure, I give them a link so they can map the concepts that they know from AWS and what's the concept on Azure. Okay, so cloud, trust me, it's the present, it's the future, and that's why we offer trainings and we offer vouchers on some of the trainings that we have for you. Okay, so that's all I have for you this week. Again, we will send you the file by email so you can click on any of those links. And anytime you have any questions, just feel free, send me an email. Here's my email once again. And I'm always glad to answer any of your questions. Okay, so if we have no more questions, thank you for being here. And I hope to see you on an AWS training pretty soon. Okay, thank you.